guys, it is time for day 2 of the GSL Code S. We are in season 2 of 2017. I'm Tasteless, joined with Artosis. We've got a great series of matches coming up for you guys this afternoon.
Yes, we certainly do. And the first thing that is jumping out to me, Tasteless, is that you said today is day 2 of the GSL Code S.
And
I do wonder.
Am I wrong?
No, you're very right.
Okay.
But I wonder how long
you'll. No, we're off to a horrible start.
I wonder how long you're going to continue announcing which day of Code S it is, because I feel like around 5-ish,
you are completely right.
Absolutely not going to know what day it is.
No. Eventually we get far enough in here. But I'm excited, man. We are in season 2, and we got some great players. Taking a look at our first player here in the lineup, it's Ryung,
of course,
who I would say is playing better than he's ever played before. He's been here since our first season of the GSL.
In fact, it's his 11th Code S. That's
wow.
Crazy. And then, of course, Deer, 8 Code S's. This guy is a champion.
Yeah, champion of our tournament. Billowy, somebody who has been more prominent in Pro League and in team matches, but is beginning to be on the rise here in these individual tournaments.
He's one of the really big up-and-coming guys, and of course, Biel, couple-time GSL finalist. Kind of one of these second placers like Sue, unfortunately, but I think he'll be doing well tonight. Really a very strong lineup of players.
Yeah. Biel, I'm always curious to see how he's going to perform in a GSL Code S. He has gotten deep many times before, but has fallen short many times as well.
Yeah, indeed. Well, thank God on the English stream we have the name of the Korean commentators down there. So, looking at this group, Tasteless, your first thoughts, who do you think gets out?
I am going to say Ryung and Deer, actually.
Ryung and Deer, okay. No, I mean, I think that you can really make a case kind of for everyone. Billowy's the harder one to make the case for, but this guy is an up-and-coming Protoss. He's super strong. I wouldn't be surprised if he makes it out, but I got to tell you what, Biel, like, I'm expecting to hit at least round of 8 this season. He is just in immaculate shape.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit strange to me to say that I don't think that Biel's going to get out. I just feel like Ryung is in very good shape, and I think it's foolish to think that Deer would not get out of this group.
Yeah, well, I mean, Deer, I think you have to always be. He's like a guy that's like top 8.
Yeah.
You assume that he'll make it about that far. He's just so rock solid. But Ryung, I feel like this is a tough group for him. He's such a monster in TVT, but when he hits some of these really strong Protosses or Zergs, he has a little bit of a harder time. And I think specifically Biel could be a tough one for him, as he did play him in Super Tournament. You know, went 1-3, as you can see here on the screen. And it was like Biel going Ling, Bane, Muta, and Ryung just not able to push like someone like a Maru or Innovation. Yeah,
he is just barely in the shadows of our top 4 Terrans globally. And we'll see as time passes. I feel like he's right up there with Alive, where it's like, this guy is very, very good, but you don't default him into being the Terran that everybody's talking about. No,
certainly you're right about that.
Up here, we have Deer. This guy has been a champion of our tournament at the GSL Code S, but it was a long time ago. He's a Royal Roader, actually, somebody who, first time he was in the tournament, he actually won it, which was crazy. I remember when the round of 32, you and me were on a commercial break, and I was joking, wouldn't it be funny if Deer, the guy named Deer, actually won this, and then he did.
Like this faceless Korean Protoss that we don't know too much about.
Yeah,
like,
and then he literally actually did it.
Not only did he win that, but then he won the WCS season finals. Like, he was just on a hot streak right then, just killing nerds.
He's not been as dominant. I always feel bad saying this when you have somebody who's actually been the best in the world at one point in time, to say he has not been as dominant as before, because to still be up here playing and competing with guys of this caliber is a pretty big deal. But I expect him to get out of this group.
He's been hitting deep, though, right? Like on a few seasons last year. It was, I believe, both seasons last year was top 4, if I can remember correctly. So he's still like right there, you know?
All right, guys, we are going into game number 1 in our first best of 3, a Terran versus Protoss, Ryung versus Deer. In the bottom right, in the blue, he is
TES Gaming, Ryung.
And his opponent in the upper left in the red, he is
Deer.
Oh, wow. Okay, this game got weird very fast.
Yeah, and this location is one that just can't be scouted because it is in such a ridiculously weird spot.
That's possibly the most obscure place to put that while it's still being viable as a build order, like to open up.
I think this is going to be a proxy cloaked Banshee if I had to guess. Like, this is the only thing I can imagine will occur right there. Like, you could proxy your factory there, but then you have 0 things at home, so I'm a little bit... Yeah, I don't know. I'm just guessing proxy cloaked Banshee with, like, maybe units at home out of a factory or something, you know, to make sure he doesn't just fall over to, like, I don't know, an Adept in his face.
Let's see what he does with the barracks here. Conversely, Protoss is going for a Nexus right away. So we have polar opposite build orders here. One player basically going for possibly one of the... oh my... what?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Okay, well, just really quickly here, I want to say Protoss is going for a very... mild, quick expand, although now we have a pylon out here.
He's going to proxy Oracle.
Yeah, so
probably.
So this is going to be possibly one of the weirdest games we have casted in a long time.
Proxy Cloaked Ghost Rush is like something that I hit on the ladder, but I never thought I'd see pros do.
It's one of these builds that you'll encounter that is like, yeah, people do it, but you assume that it gets filtered out at the highest level of play. Now, how does it size up against some player who's doing something somewhat similar but not as dramatic, which is hiding his own Stargate, also in a very obscure location?
Well, the scary thing for me is there's just nothing at home to stop the Oracle, so the Oracle will kill everything. The thing is, the Ghosts can kill everything as well. They just massacre probes so quickly.
Absolutely.
Like, you walk in there with 2-3 Cloaked Ghosts, and like this is going to turn into a crazy game very quickly.
The odds of Deer suspecting that Ryung is going to do this... By the way, Ryung doesn't do stuff like this that often. I mean, I'm definitely not this built, but just kind of proxy anything. It's not the first thing you think of when you think about Ryung. Now, at the same time, though, Deer is doing a more traditional rush, and this might end up hitting Ryung before he's able to do what he wants to do. Now, there's no anti-air in the Terran's base.
Yes.
So this is going to be invisible units killing one guy's workers against a flying unit hitting units that can't defend themselves against an air attack.
The thing I can say for Ryung, though, is that you will run out of energy with the Oracle, and then it doesn't do anything. So like, it can't kill all of the economy, whereas the Ghosts actually can kill the entire economy of their opponent here.
Oh, my God. Did he see it?
I don't know if he actually saw it. Like, Ryung flicked that back.
Okay. Now, this one is headed towards the main. I believe Deer should have seen the blip. Now, the Oracle's doing damage.
Yeah, he's not microing the Oracle. That is actually a really big deal.
Now, he's evacuated the SCVs. There's only 14 energy on the Oracle. The Oracle obviously cannot continuously attack. There's 53 energy on the Cloaked Ghost. So... this is a disaster right now for Deer.
Probes. This is crazy, man.
Yeah.
This is truly a crazy thing. But the hold position on the Adepts I really do like. Trying to slow it down more Ghosts from getting in here, but, I mean, they can chop right through Adepts as well.
So there's no detection out here. There's a chance that Deer has to tap out. We can see he comes in here and tags 2 of the Ghosts.
Okay.
Nicely done.
Yeah. Well, that was a mistake by Ryung to not have them split beyond a Revelation.
That was pretty much the only way that he could have spotted that.
Yeah.
Now, he's continuing to crank out Ghosts here, and I believe there's another one inbound right now. Now, there's been 27 workers killed. That is a lot of kills there. Right now, the worker count here for Protoss is at 13. He does have 2 bases, so he can produce workers pretty quickly. But the Ghosts are continuing to be inbound, which may pressure the Oracles to stay back. That being said, though, the Terran's base is somewhat naked. In fact, one Ghost headed southbound now. You can see he's trying to avoid interacting with the Oracles as much as possible. I don't know, man.
He's actually making a couple turrets, but the Adepts won't really be stopped by that. I guess sitting behind the wall, but... this is just turning more and more base trade. The Adepts will get through the wall, and then the missile turret won't save these SCVs.
Kind of crazy. Another Ghost comes up here. So it's 23 workers to 18. This is like a game of whoever bleeds out first, really. However, I do believe that despite the worker advantage right now for Ryung, it seems as though Protoss ultimately just bludgeons the Terran with the remaining workers that he has left over.
I don't know. This is really hard because there's a bunker on the way. A couple bunkers, in fact.
Yeah, but I don't think there's a bunker behind the mineral patches. I think
not behind, but there is like a bunker being made, so maybe with this he can rally some sort of defense. You can send Ghosts home. Ghosts kill Adepts pretty quickly. But yeah, like that army that he has inside of Ryung's base is pretty crazy.
Okay, he's just continuing to kill workers. It's 15 probes now, 15 or 14 workers now here for Protoss. As Protoss is trying to remanufacture those as fast as possible. You can actually see that he's not really micromanaging the Ghost as well as he should be.
Looks like he shift-clicked a few probes, and then it just kind of went on its own.
Well, he's trying to make sure he doesn't just lose control of his main base here.
Yeah.
And he's also continuing to rally Ghosts up here. This is actually a pretty special game. This is not.
This is crazy.
This is not at all what I thought.
Like a deer
we were going to see here.
No, a proxy cloaked Ghost Rush. Like again, you hit this on the ladder occasionally. It is a super rare build, but that's. I mean. He's done so much damage with it, it's crazy.
Well, we don't have any direct detection, any hard detection here for Protoss. There's no, like, observers, for instance, coming out here. So every Ghost that comes out has to be dealt with individually, which is problematic. Now, Terran is got a bit of a crisis at home, but I don't think it's as problematic, as what we're seeing coming out here for Deer. I mean, he's lost... At this point in time, more probes have been killed in this game than would have happened in like a game that went on for 25 minutes.
Yeah. I would love to actually see the full count of what's been killed. I think it's like 50 probes.
54 probes have been killed in a game that's only gone on for 17 minutes and 20 seconds. So
this is so wild. And Ryung is stabilizing, really.
Here's what's funny about this, Artosis, is that you know when a game like this happens in a tournament like GSL, it just completely changes the number of times you encounter this in online ladder game.
You're very right about that. Wait, is that a Ghost in the bunker?
Yeah.
That's crazy. I actually didn't even know they took up half a bunker. Yeah. I literally did not know this.
How often do you ever put a Ghost in a bunker or see a Ghost in a bunker?
Exactly. Do you know Ghosts in a bunker can hit Guardians in StarCraft 1?
I'm sure there are people that are watching this right now that are thinking that Ghosts can't even go in bunkers. I didn't know that until now. You know?
Well, this is
you don't put those two things together.
Literally a learning moment for me right now.
No, this is pretty wild. The Ghost has always been a funny unit because it was rarely ever used in Brood War. It was rarely ever used in StarCraft 2, really. Like in a phase of the game like this, like we're seeing here now. But people have experimented with it, and you can definitely see why. There's definitely some viability to it. It does seem to be a little bit top-heavy as far as builds go. Did you see that he blocked the building of the factory there? With the
that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Well, oh, my gosh.
Problem right now is that there's a lot of bulk here.
Look at that EMP, man. This is so funny, because EMP is actually really good against adept builds, because they clump up like really closely, and that takes half their health. So
this game's when all of this is said and done, they're actually now at even workers, 29 to 29. How funny is that?
That's good for Terran, though. We do have to definitely point out because of mules, and as Protoss, you expect to have more workers than the Terran player.
That's
just kind of like the way the game goes. So definitely I am giving a big, strong lead here to Ryung. I think he's going to be able to just win this. You know, he's getting stim, combat shields, he's making enough units.
Here's the thing, Artosis, there hasn't been a direct answer to the Ghost. I mean, every Ghost gets in here and kills a few workers. Protoss is kind of stuck. He's basically stagnated at this point in time with, just the Adepts and Oracles trying to deal with this. And he's trying to just flash in here, basically, and try to do some kind of crippling blow. I'm just not sure it's going to happen. Ryung is still able to upgrade his units. He's about to get combat shields. We saw that Stim just finished up a few moments ago. And I'm just not sure if this is going to work. If it does work, it's going to have to be a huge amount of damage. This Adept clump is going to have to do a lot more than what it's doing right now, even though it's doing a pretty decent amount.
All he needs to do is EMP these things and stim and attack them. Like, he's got combat shields. Everything should be pretty fine for him. Some damage has been dealt, but like the technicality of what Ryung has is getting higher. He's actually getting upgrades and whatnot, where I guess Glaives is on the way, to be fair, for Deer.
Yeah, that is true. I don't know. I think that's kind of where the story ends, though. Is I think it's Glaives, and it doesn't get much better than that, whereas Terran is continuing to produce. A factory is almost done. He'll have a starport eventually. We haven't been watching that much of the Protoss' base just recently, so I don't know if more Ghosts are actually rallied up there or not.
Well, he's got more workers now, 23 against 34. But this is such a weird game. Oh my God! Never thought I'd see this at the pro level.
Yeah, this is so cool. To see a game like this happening here with two of the very top-tier players.
Yeah.
in a GSL Codas. Oh, nice. Actually takes out the Oracle.
By the way, this is like just becoming a huge adept all-in from Deer.
Yeah. This is like an elongated all-in where it's just kind of...
Yeah, this is mostly just Marines, so the EMP is going to be very important. He's only got one bunker, which I assume will be shaded by. There's no wall at the top of the ramp that was killed earlier, and he hasn't remade it, which means that the Adepts have full mobility here. There is a possibility that Deer just kills him.
Yeah, it's not over yet.
Yeah.
It's not over yet. The longer the game goes on for, the larger of an advantage Terran should be at. But
yeah,
it doesn't mean that Protoss is completely out of this game just yet. I mean, as we've seen since the start of 2016, Adepts have a lot. They're very robust units, and if you get them in the right spot,
there they go.
And they're like we're seeing right here, and their units in the wrong spot. For instance, this ramp like a funnel, then they can win. And in fact, I think that this actually was the bludgeoning, killing blow that we might have been looking for here.
It might be. Like, this Shady's not going to finish. He's just going to stay in the main base, I would imagine. Oh, no, I guess he just finishes it. Never mind. Another stim comes out. Some medevacs are popping out as well. A lot of the SCVs ending up going down here.
I'm actually surprised he shaded down there.
Yeah,
I don't know what.
There was nothing in the main base attack, and he could just stayed.
Granted, it's Terran at 13 workers to 33. I would have. I don't want to be too critical of him, but I was a little bit surprised he did that. Now, keep in mind that when Protoss loses all those Adepts, Terran still kept the majority of his army after that fight because he can heal his units now. The game's gone on for longer. In fact, just as Oracle is the only thing that seems to be pinning the Terran inside of his base.
Yeah, this is one of those games where you have now traded your army for economy, and so with the much bigger army, Ryung should have some flexibility to get damage done, I would say, at this point. He's getting a good amount of medevacs. There is no +1 attack for these Adepts, so there's still 3-shotting Marines, as long as these are full health Marines that get stimmed. And he's about to have +1 attack, as well as a few ghosts mixed in for EMP, so this really does look like a game that Ryung should be able to still close out, even though his economy has been shattered.
Yeah, well, I got to say, given the position that Deer's been put in, I think he's doing a really good job. He's done a really, really good job, and this really is an indicator of you can throw anything at Deer, and he'll still manage to hold his own.
Yeah.
Basically what Artosis and I are talking about, guys, is that there should eventually be a moment that Terran can push out, and I think he might be able to squash the Protoss. However, what the game that Deer is playing is really one of gimping the Terran economically to make him feel very uncomfortable. And let me tell you something, it's a scary game right now for Ryung, because if he moves out and loses his army, he does lose the game.
Yeah. Did he make a full wall on the top of his ramp? It looks like it's only a partial wall, so this is deadly once again. Where's it? Okay, he should be able to EMP this if it finishes.
Oh, he baited out his stim. That was pretty good.
Yeah. He really needs to finish this wall up there so that he can actually close it when these shades come in. We saw Ryung do a scan right in the middle of those 3 bases. He was just looking to see if there's a third. If there's not a third, you just sit tight. Look, he's even scouting now and saying, okay, you don't even have gases at your natural. This is literally an Adept all-in. And if Ryung just continues to turtle, I want to see more bunkers. I want to see him just, like, completely seal up.
Yeah, it's funny. He's actually been dropping mules, so he's scouting with the barracks. He's been scouting even with an empty medevac just to see what's going on. Here we go. Is this going to work? Good EMP down there. Hitting it pretty much every single Adept. The arc here for the Terran is quite good. I don't know if the Protoss exactly has enough, and he's going to get his army cleaned up. And again, it's the Terran coming out on top. And this time around, he didn't kill a large number of workers. So that was definitely a failed attempt there. In fact, he's going to try to land this. This is so fun. He's going to try to land it and block it.
It's going to build a reactor there to block and then move to another base, build a tech lab to block that one.
GG. Ryung wins game number 1 with a lot of style, if I could say.
Yes.
Very cool. Did the ghost build. It did not finish his opponent. His opponent actually proxied an Oracle, which was one really interesting way that could have countered what Ryung was doing, but Ryung managed to stay on his feet and close it out.
Yeah, Ryung got a little bit weak against those Adepts for a while, losing a lot of workers, not really stopping their circulation of their shades and stuff. So things went wrong for a bit, but Ryung held on tight. Very cool to see him bust out this build that is generally considered to be of a not only very, very cheesy and kind of all-in-ish, but considered to be a lower level build.
This is what I was about to get to, was that when you're of the caliber of Deer, You're never supposed to lose that online. Even though there's some viability to it, it's like the fact that nobody really uses that like as much at like this level of play. Like,
no, totally.
If you had to have us guess 10 different builds these guys would have done beforehand,
that
we
would
would
have
never have never.
If you said 50, we might come up.
Yeah, we might still run out of builds and pick that one out. But let's see how this affects the mentality of Deer as we go into game number 2 here at the GSL Codex. In the bottom right, in the blue, he is
TES Gaming, Ryung.
What an awesome first game there with that proxy Cloakos.
in the bottom left, in the red, he is
Deer.
It would be harder for me to be more of a fan of Ryung right now than I am. I am totally smitten with him.
Now I really want him to get out of this group because this is so cool.
Anyone who's willing to bust that out is like...
Put his career on the line for a strategy like that.
Yeah. And, you know, I was looking at this group in general, and I was like, I don't think Ryung is... Like, this is a tough group for him, right? No Terran players to just kind of bank a win off of, an easy win for Ryung, and... You know, some very strong Protosses, and Biel, who's already defeated him with the style that Ryung is specifically not as... Like, you make Roaches against Ryung, I think he's going to be much more okay, whereas Lingbane Muta, that's tough. So I was like, I think Ryung is not even going to make it out tonight, but if he's pulling builds like that, this guy's pretty prepared.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that would have been cooler is if he did that wearing oven mittens or something. I mean, that's that's the only thing that's more daring than doing a ghost strat like that. So, going into game 2, Ryung appears to be doing a complete strategic reversal here, and he's playing a very conservative game. And this is really how you beat somebody in a series. That's why we don't play just one game of StarCraft to decide who's better, especially in StarCraft 2. We have them play a series of games so that the players can try to read each other and adjust strategies and play styles. And in this case, I think that this is like a very... It's not totally unpredictable, but it does indicate that he's got a wide range of play styles. He's going for a real econ game. He's not taking any risks, as far as we can tell. The only real risk would be that if Protoss decided to take a risk early on, which it doesn't appear that Protoss is doing either. So this is going to be a much more a test of mechanics and just how well you can handle mid-game, basically.
It's pretty standard. Stargate in your main base, you know, it's pretty timid from Deer, and nothing too crazy coming out of Ryung either. He's skipping the Reaper, but, you know, getting a little bit faster into this Widow Mine. He's actually adding a second factory, so the whole world is changing today. Like, Ryung has... This is the second completely bizarre build.
I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Honestly, guys, it did look like a normal game, but he's completely doing something crazy again.
So, I'm getting chills.
This is just...
Ryung's my favorite player in the whole world right now. He is going 2 factories early against Protoss. Now, this one's making a mine.
Crazy.
Yeah, this one has to make some units to prevent him from dying to an Oracle because he's already scouted that Stargate. But if he's just proxying a factory and making mines out of that as well, you will run out of Revelations.
That's right.
He's just, you know what he's doing? He's picking on the fact that Protosses don't really go robo very much right now.
Now, see, this is a cool strategic, overall in a series, a strategic answer to a Phoenix Adept in general.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Early Oracle is not a good detection.
The Oracle is really a band-aid solution for detection. It's not the same as an Observer. An Observer, if you can keep it alive, you'll kill cloaked units for days.
If you open with the old builds where it's just like a robo and you make Observers and like...
Yeah, then you're fine.
You have like a Stalker and an Observer, like 2 factory mines, like, yeah, okay, I do free units. Like, doesn't do anything.
Okay, first Widow Mine coming up here. It's up to this Adept to try to zone out. Now, that being said, that might be the only thing that Protoss could do to possibly blockade this, is like if you could just keep the Adepts from actually broing towards your base. Oh!
Really cool. He's going reactored Cyclone. Oh, no, I guess it's just 2 Cyclones being made. Never mind. Okay, so pushing with the Cyclones is kind of neat as well, because Cyclones do well against Adepts. They do okay against Oracles, especially if they're out of the range of the Oracles. He's got a mine with that. He's got 9 Marines, so he can push the Oracles off. And this third base, for instance, he can 100% kill that, and he might even be able to do something big at the natural.
Well, he might actually want to push natural. Let's see where he goes.
Yeah.
You know, because if you push to the natural, it's a much bigger blow. Because the third base, you kind of win by default. Unfortunately, though, there's nothing here to defend. The Terrans were. Oh my God! I didn't see that Widow Mine. Okay.
Oh God! There's no Mothership Core here, Tasteless, and those 3 units are not going to hold on against this Terran army. Starting to take down these pylons. Mothership Core is being rushed out right now. Chronoed in the natural, but there's not even going to be a pylon for it.
Okay, the Oracles are probably going to have to come back home. However, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough!
Oh my God, it's only a single Oracle. It's already taken a beating. More Stalkers popping out. Stalkers, I mean, you can micro them, but they aren't going to do that well against this big an army.
Mothership Core, very low on HP. It is gunned down. Only been out in this game for a few seconds. Terran may try to push up onto the high ground. I'm not sure if Deer is really respecting the fact that there's a mine down here. We'll see if he backs up in a second. Dude, it's ready. Oh my God, this could not be worse.
Yeah,
that connected so well onto that.
Don't forget that behind this, Ryung actually has an expansion. So
yeah.
Even if Deer kills all this off, which it looks like he will, look at how many probes he's lost. Oh my God,
he got the Nexus.
Yeah, kills that Nexus off as well. It's huge. Void Ray's on the way, but that's not going to be enough. He's just making Stalkers and Void Rays. He might decide to do something like a Stalker Void Ray all in.
Dude, Deer is kind of getting owned, man. This is
Yeah.
This is pretty sick. This is the most unusual game, or series, I should say, of StarCraft 2 we've casted in a while.
This is Ryung,
like pretty.
Ryung is bringing it to another level, the creativity here.
He is actually leveled up. Because this is like, I mean, my God. If I have not been this excited about just a new approach to a TVP in a series. This is so exciting.
Well,
he's so fun. Now, that being said, you can't do this every game,
No.
so he'll probably discard these builds later, I'm guessing.
Yeah, these are one of builds, but that's fine, you know? Tonight he has to play a maximum of 9 games, a maximum, right? So he can have stuff like this prepared. This is really cool to see out of him, and now everyone's going to be scared, like rest of the night.
Yeah.
Even if Deer wins this game, he's like, damn, I have no idea what Ryung is going to do, you know? He is not going to sit down and play standard.
Okay, we have some Stalkers warping in, but I believe the Adept should be able to burrow time. Oh.
Ooh.
That was like a fourth of a second.
That was really close.
From going off. Okay, so Protoss is trying to remake the Nexus at the natural base. Deer's also trying to come in.
The Void Ray harass. I'll get him.
I mean, I guess you can do it. It does something, right? Terran does have to send units over here.
That's right, and here they are.
No.
And now he has to
It's not the fastest unit.
Okay, third Nexus is being retaken. He's going into glaives and stuff.
Yeah.
But, like, Ryung, basically, we can look at this as a successful opening, I would say. He's getting into all of his upgrades. He hasn't actually taken damage himself. Like, yeah, he lost a proxy factory, whatever. He still has a factory at home. That's how many factories Terran normally has against Protoss. So, I would like to see out of Ryung a very turtled play, because
I agree.
You're going to pretty much assume that Deer is likely to go glaives and maybe get very aggressive because this game has been so dirty. So let's just see some defense here out of Ryung. Let's see him not take damage from Adepts. Some angry nerd right now is like, oh, not take damage from Adepts, you Raider.
Oh, well, Artosis.
And look at that. That's a nice technical army right there.
Oh, is he actually going to push? I was basically agreeing with you, Artosis, and your theory on how to play this from Terran is to just stay back, but it is possible he could do a lot of damage. I'm a little bit worried because we saw a little bit earlier 5 gateways finishing, which means there's going to be a huge production explosion here.
Yeah. You know, size and complexity of the army both really matter when you're playing against gateway units, especially Adepts. You just want to have a big one. Okay, he scans. He sees exactly what it is. It is a lot of units from Deer. He has quite a large army.
Yeah, in fact, this, despite how cool this opening was, this is actually a very easy way for Terrans to lose. It does seem like sometimes Terrans tend to push out a little bit too soon, but maybe this is going to be one of these games where it's actually going to be perfectly fine. He is coming up here and doing a lot of damage with just these workers alone, and actually gets a free Oracle. Nicely done.
That's
and
really
9
nice.
probe kills for what I believe was 4 or 5 Marines. That's totally worth it.
Well, that's a fantastic move right there. So definitely have to be quite happy about that, as Ryung, who, by the way, is walking home. There's a stasis ward very nicely placed where the command center goes, so he might be able to stall that out for a bit.
And he will. There's no way for Protoss to further exploit this. But it looks like the command center is going to be landing here. Ryung definitely going for the harass play here. He's going to try to drop some Widow Mines, it looks like, in that northern base for Protoss.
Oracle just kind of flying around at the moment.
He's
There's a mine right
There's a
there.
Mine, yeah.
Okay,
wow, good tag. Now, Protoss appears to want to push in here. There are 2 Widow Mines that he could end up engaging with.
Oh, man. Double Widow Mine drop at this third base location. Deer going to lose a lot of probes.
7 kills. Oh, I don't know if he can kill that Terran army.
Yeah.
I think if he just stays back and gets some more mines to cover him, I think he's going to be fine.
Well, yeah, and we're hitting that type of supply level as well. When you start getting over 100 supply, Adepts have a much harder time engaging, and part of that, of course, being look at the amount of Marauders he has. He has some mines, these Cyclones. These are hard things to fight against, and he doesn't even have Phoenixes to pick anything up.
That's right. No, it's just going to be raw damage. And you know what? I think Deer is kind of falling apart here. 5 more pros have been killed.
Yeah, he's going to finish a Shade pretty soon in the next couple.
Yeah, and I actually don't think that Protoss is going to win this. But let's see. Terran with a pretty good arc around here. Oracle not engaging with the rest of this army. I think that's GG.
Yeah, that's about it.
I think that's it.
Wow.
Ryung. So cool. Good game.
Yeah, Ryung has truly
outsmarted
and tricked Deer in this series. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What a well-deserved, hard-fought 2-0 strategically here.
That was like one of those games where, like, you're like one of those people that watch GSL and there's some other guy in your high school that also plays StarCraft 2 and he doesn't know about esports, or he thinks he's pretty good, and then you just wreck him with a couple of builds that he's never seen before. And then he knows who's the alpha nerd. That's what this looked like, except it was actually in a real tournament match, and it was actually against the GSL CodeS champion. That was super, super cool.
Yeah, that was so well done by Ryung. There's 2 builds that you just never really see, especially at this top pro level, and that's a 2-0 victory as well.
I think we can all be pleased with that. That was some real creativity being exhibited. We are going to go to a short break. When we come back, our second best of 3, Billowy versus Biel.